On October 2nd, the TV production team had the opportunity to film Mass State Senator Michael Moore. Although the GH studio was not complete, the team worked with the light board, cameras, which arrived 3 days prior to the filming, and microphones, which arrived the day prior to the filming. They devised their own backdrop and experimented with filming techniques and lighting. Here is the result of their efforts.
And today here standing with me is Senator Michael Moore. Good morning, Senator Michael Moore.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
What do you think about the new school?
Oh, I think the school is beautiful. It's nice to see all the state-of-the-art technology being brought in and accessible to the students. Because I deal with I'm chairman of the Committee of Higher Education in the Senate, so a lot of our concerns that we have right now is that a lot of the students are graduating from our K through 12 system not being prepared for college, and so it's nice to see the state-of-the-art equipment here, knowing that hopefully that when they graduate they're going to be prepared to go on to public and private universities with the skills necessary. So it's actually nice, and I think hopefully the residents of the town are very proud of the job that the building committee did and the contractors. It's a beautiful facility. It looks very well planned out and structured very well.
What do you think about the iPad? Like all the students have one-to-one interaction with the iPad. What do you think about it?
Oh, I think that's great. That's actually one of the, when we talk about having the skills, I know a lot of people from my generation, you know, we saw the computers when they were taking up half of a wall, then they, and I don't think we even had computers when I was in school. So to see the students actually using that, I think it's great. It's really, I think it's going to be very helpful as they move on to the colleges and eventually into the workforce that they're acquiring these skills at such a younger age.
What is your favorite part in the school? Like the fitness room or the art room or the band room? Which classroom do you like the best?
I kind of like the fitness room. I think as we were in there, I think I said when I was in school we had a weight bench and that was about it. But I actually like it all. I actually do think it's a beautiful facility. I like the fact that the students have access to the fitness room, because that's one of the problems we have right now in Massachusetts and nationally. We have issues with obesity. So it's nice to see in the school offer out some physical fitness equipment and opportunities to the students. But as when we were in there talking with one of your art teachers, I think it's great the fact that a lot of students and people in general don't realize the broad aspects or interaction that arts or cultural type curriculum have in the workforce. Designing of clothes or going out to designing of the school. If you look at the design aspect, well, that could be considered an arts type of background. So I think it's great that the schools haven't forgotten these other areas, and you know, we are always concentrating on STEM, math and science and technology, but we can't forget these other aspects because that's important when you move on later on in life and trying to enter the workforce. There's all these other applications that it can apply to.
And what motivates you to become a senator or a politician?
Well, I'd always been involved in public service. Well, actually, I should say I've always been involved in my community. When I was younger, growing up in Millbury, my parents and my father was very active in the community. He ran for many offices, but he actually served on the planning board for 14 years. And at that time, he also got involved outside of the community, helping other candidates. So out of 3 siblings, I was the only one that actually followed, I guess, in his interest of getting into the political end of it. But from there, when I graduated school, I ended up getting a job with the State Environmental Police, which, from my end of it, where you're a public servant and you should be involved in government. There's a lot riding on what we do as far as what we did. Our responsibilities were serving the public, as far as what we were expected to look at for our wages, our benefits, and other aspects of our job. That I ended up getting involved in our union when I was with the State Environmental Police, and through the union got me involved in working with the legislature, getting a much broader array of policy type issues, because as the union official, I ended up getting elected to the what's called the Mass Police Association, and that was a more of a political action committee for all of the police throughout Massachusetts. There was roughly 21,000. So we got involved in the policy issues regarding public safety. And then I transferred to the Attorney General's office, where I did the environmental work, investigations, and then I got elected. Actually, I moved back to my hometown of Millbury. I got married and moved back there, and I was approached for running for selectman, and where I had such a big interaction with the court systems, the criminal justice system, the State House, dealing with a lot of a variety of policy issues. I really had an interest in learning more or doing more with what the various experiences I had had. So I ran for selectman, and I loved it. I was on the board for 8 years. I really enjoyed the type of issues that you could address. And when you have groups of people or one person coming to you and they're looking for help, you're not always successful. I mean, you try, but whenever you can be successful and you know you've bettered some person's life or a neighborhood or the community, I think that's the reward that I got, and I think most public servants, most elected officials get. It's the reward of trying to help that one person that it seems like it's insurmountable type of advocacy that they just won't get on their own. And so then the current senator who was in office, Senator Augustus, decided not to run for re-election. So I had some people approach me from other communities, and I had a real interest in seeking the seat. And 4 years later, now I'm running for my third term. I'm going to finish up my second term, running for my third term. And my first term in office, I chaired the Committee on Community Development and Small Business. I've been the chairman of the Committee on Higher Education in the Senate now. So it's nice. You really do get a chance to have a bigger impact on, again, I would say your community, and I think, again, that's really what it's all about. People coming to you. Someone is in high school that wants to do an internship, bringing them in, giving them the opportunity to experience new experiences. So it's a lot of self-reward in the position.
And what do you think voters today, for young people, what motivate them to vote for the next election?
Well, what I think should be motivating them is the cost of college tuition, making sure that we keep our colleges and universities accessible as far as not having them accumulate large amounts of student loan debt, having the proper programs available to them. That was one thing in this last budget session that we just did. Again, as the chairman of the Committee on Higher Education, we just did in the Senate budget, well, actually in the budget in general, we just did a reform of our community college system and the type of programs that they offer. The governor issued a plan in his budget. The House had one. Then the Senate, we put one forth, and then we combined all three in what they call a conference committee. That was actually put into the budget. And part of the emphasis that we were focusing on was that we were getting from the various business communities. And there was actually a report that came out from the Boston Foundation that we had about 100 to about 110,000 jobs in Massachusetts that were open in the allied health fields, but we didn't have the skilled labor to fill those jobs. So here we had an unemployment rate of about 6.1%. We're looking for new ways to try to get people back to work, and so that they provide for themselves, be successful for their families. Yet we have this skills gap. So that's something I think that our students, when they go to vote into the polls, they should be looking at people to vote on who are going to try to address those issues. Make sure that it's incumbent upon us as elected officials that we're going to create programs that will give them access to the curriculum or the skills so that they can be successful.
Well, thank you, Senator Michael Moore, for the pleasures to be here and everything.
No, thank you, and again, I want to thank you for all your hard work in my office. 2 years you interned?
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years, and everyone raved about your work. You did a great job, and you have a very nice personality. Everyone liked coming in, talking to you. So thank you very much. You're a great role model for the other students of Grafton High School.
Thanks.
You're welcome.